Yo,
Can you
yo,
hear me? 101.
what's going on, everyone? We're live.
Yes, we are live and we're going to be talking about the North London derby,
Yeah,
Arsenal v Tottenham. And I'm sure that is going to be a memorable game, just based on where both people are in the league right now. Arsenal are eighth. I believe that Spurs now are sixth. And a lot's on the line. If we beat Spurs, we just take one step forward towards potentially finishing a European spot, and maybe an outside spot for a top four finish. But it is sure to be interesting. But what are your thoughts on the game, Dan?
um, I don't know, man. I feel like it's one of them ones, isn't it? You just don't know what's gonna happen, man. It's Mourinho, it's Spurs, it's Arsenal. What Arsenal is gonna turn up like? If we play like the other night, I don't know, man. Like we can't afford to let them get an early goal. I tell you that much. Like that's got to be the thing. I think the key for tomorrow's game is to make sure we're on point early. Like make sure we're at it early. I can't remember what game it was. About 3 games ago, we started like right out of the gate. That's what we need to do tomorrow. That's what I feel. What about you?
I completely agree because the first time we faced Spurs, they had scored early, and it just meant that I don't know what it is about this squad. We just aren't confident enough when teams score against us first. The majority of the time, I think probably it's only the Leicester win that like literally a team scored first, like really early, and then we were able to kind of bounce back. So I agree with you that if we can score first, then it puts them on the ropes to see what they can do because I, I don't recall that many times during in the season whereby Spurs have allowed teams to score first and then they come back and actually beat them. So I think whoever gets scores first is going to be kind of favorites to win, especially Mourinho because he likes to hit on the counter attack. So if he scores first, he knows Arsenal has to come out and attack after that. So it is going to be interesting, especially with who starts for Arsenal and I think for them.
Yep, and park the bus Mourinho in it. Like, so you got to be careful. Don't let him get a lead on you because he's going to shut up shop. That's what I feel like, and I feel like this is one of the most interesting North London derbies in the sense that it's one of the first ever ones where, obviously, last time we played them, but one of the first ever ones where both teams have been negative. Because normally Spurs and Arsenal are
Yeah.
attacking sides, but we've both gone the other way now. We're both quite negative sides that like to hit teams on a quick counter and stuff like that. So it's going to be a bit of a weird one, I feel like. I feel like the passion, but they've got Bale as well. But the passion, I don't think is going to be there so much that we normally see in the North London derby. I don't think it's going to be there in the same way. I think this is going to be more of like a cerebral, pragmatic game. That's what I reckon.
So does that mean that you're predicting a draw for this game?
I'll go into the predictions later when we do that,
Oh,
but
okay, okay.
I can safely say that I'm not predicting a draw. No, I
Okay,
do think,
okay.
yeah, I do think it's going to be a win for someone, but um, yeah, I think we're going to win, like I always say. But I'm not going to predict like a mad scoring game or anything like that because it's Mourinho, man. It's Mourinho and Arteta, innit? We've been scoring lately, though. To be fair to Arteta, yeah, he has seemed to have allowed a bit more freedom going forwards than he was previously. Do you know what I mean? Because that was a problem. Like when we were losing in like November times and like over his whole reign, really, he's been quite negative and pulled players out of attack to
Yeah,
defend, and that's why our defensive. Everyone's going on like he's a tactical genius, but if you take players out of attack and force them to stay back, yeah, you're gonna have a good defense by the very nature of having bodies there. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
we are organized and stuff, but if we've just got bodies there, then you're gonna be solid defensively. But like what he's had to do is balance it by letting a few players go forward, and since then we've been scoring. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I feel.
I agree. I agree. How you doing, Tony?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Big up, man.
Good, good. We've just been going through kind of our kind of initial thoughts on what we think the North London derby will kind of be like. And I know you just kind of jumped on, but um, what are your thoughts on how you think the game is going to go? No predictions or anything like that just yet, but I think it's an interesting tie, and a game against us with everything on the line, and potentially we could be facing Spurs again this season in the Europa League.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be, I think, down to tactics. You know, we talked about this very briefly on the preview show yesterday evening. I look at it in this way. I think the first goal is going to be very important. I think that
That's
if
exactly what you said.
Spurs score first, they will want to shut up. They'll want to keep. You know, look, there's pride involved, but you know what Mourinho's like. That you know he'll not want to concede. He'd rather win 1-0 and call it a day. I think Arsenal, this game will be interesting from the point of view is we like teams to come out and play. You know, we don't like a team that puts 10 men behind the ball and kind of plays that solid low block. So from that perspective, this could end up another 5-4.
Oh God, no.
It could be a goal fest. But it will only be a goal fest if we score first.
Tony, you basically echoed what me and you almost were saying. We were saying that both these managers, for the first time in ages, it's been quite both two negative managers in charge of Tottenham and Arsenal, where historically we've both been attacking sides. You know what I mean? So it's going to be quite. I was saying it's going to be quite a cagey, pragmatic affair. That's what I think it's going to be. That I think it's going to be a bit more like pragmatic. I can't see it being 5-4. Do you remember Mourinho's comments? He got rinsed the other day because he had a 5-4, and he's like, "I'd rather a 5-4. I'd rather go and cuss all my players and sack all my players." Or so he said something like that. So I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to park the bus. If he smells that we're going to start attacking him, I think he's going to park the bus, fam. Mourinho's parked the bus FC in it. Like that's what I think. So. I don't think it's going to be 5-4. I definitely don't think. I reckon it's going to be low scoring, bro. And I reckon there's going to be no passion in it. I reckon it's going to be one of them dead, no passion derbies. Like, that's what I think.
I mean, historically, you look at this fixture, there's goals. Yeah. Two expansive teams want to play football, want to play it the right way, but there's always been goals, you know. What difference is there this time? You know,
Mourinho
if we're going to lose, we're going to lose 2-3-0. If we're going to win, we're going to win 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-4. You know what I mean? It's just there's always goals in this fixture. You know, I'll take a scrappy 1-0 for sure. For sure, I'll take a scrappy 1-0. I think we might even be happy with a 0-0. But I just somehow believe that there are goals in this game because you've got two attacks that are on their day can score you goals. I mean, we weren't even flying on Thursday, but we scored 3 goals. You know, we scored 3 goals in spite of having Willian on the pitch. You know,
some would say because of him. He did. I was slating him at the time, but he did all right, man. He did all right. You have to give it to him. Last couple games, Willian. Last 3-4 games, I have to give Arteta his credit because I cuss every time I see this guy in the team sheet. I go mental. I'm like, what is he doing? But he has been performing. Like you have to say. And then, did you see Arteta getting rinsed yesterday for his comments? He said, "Hold on, Tony." He goes. Arteta said, "Oh, I'll keep playing Willian, because when he's in form, when players are in form, you have to let them keep going and keep their form up, And then everyone just on Twitter, everyone's like, "What about Pepe though? What about Pepe,
that's exactly what I want to say.
You got your favourites, bruv. Like you just been clocked." But
So there's a guy there who scores goals and assists, or you got a guy who's never scored a goal for Arsenal. Which one are you going to play?
Bro. He ain't had a shot on target. Look at it. We're marked. He's not had a shot on target.
Oh, God.
I'm not even joking, bro. You can look it up. He ain't had a shot on target. It's pathetic, bro.
That's ridiculous.
He's been Chelsea's top scorer in a couple of seasons before, yeah. And this guy
Yeah.
hasn't even had a shot on target, fam. This guy's got
Uh,
no confidence. No
But
confidence.
he is our top assist maker though.
Yeah, he
In
is.
the
He is.
team.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Only on
And
the
he's
back of what? 3 games?
yeah,
four,
which
four, four. No,
yeah,
five, five. Seven assists in 5 games in 5 different games. But how many has he
Yeah.
played? How many has he
Yeah.
actually played altogether?
Exactly
yeah.
my point. Exactly my point.
He's played a lot.
His goal
If not,
contributions per game is pathetic because he's played about 20 plus games in it, yeah. And
yeah,
his per game, his goal contribution is awful. Like if you look at someone like Pepe, his goal contribution ratio is mad high, bro, because he barely ever plays, and when he does play, more often than not, he'll give an assist or get a goal. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just feel like we're
And
missing out on certain things.
he's just generally more of an offensive threat. I mean, we were talking about this yesterday. Saka's goal contributions in terms of goals scored is weak. His shooting boots are terrible. But you know what? He's always going to be there. He's always knocking on the door.
yep.
And there's a difference between, okay, well, he's only scored 5 goals, but I tell you what, he's had about a good 20 plus decent opportunities in the time that he's played. You know, either he's setting up or he's scored or he's having a shot himself.
And I think the important
And
thing
that's
with
the thing.
Saka. The important thing with Saka, sorry to cut you, but the important thing with him, yeah, is he creates his own chances. It's not like you
Yeah,
see them chances he's missing, he's making them for himself. He's either playing a
yeah,
nice little 1-2 or he's running
Yeah.
through the whole defense, etc., etc. So that's why I think deserves, and he's 19. Come on, Bill.
Yeah.
He's had like one
Yeah.
season in the team, like properly in his position. You know what I mean? This year,
yeah,
other times he's been a left back, so you can't really judge him on that. So I just feel like with Saka, he's doing it for himself. So that's why he gets more credit in the bank, and he's so young. Like his finishing will get better with age. That's just
yeah.
how it happens, man. But anyway, so continue, so bro.
Now, I don't want to hog the conversation. Jump in, Yomis. I know you got things to say.
The thing is, I do think that we're in a good place. I do think that with Willian, I always said it. If you get an assist, then or goals, you kind of deserve to play. And it's a real shame. It's happened at a time when Pepe's been on form. And to be really honest, I'm not a Pepe fan, but when you're playing well, you're playing well. And Pepe has deserved to get some games. And I don't know. I really think that this might be a game that Arteta might surprise us in the
He
starting
ain't playing
lineup.
Pepe. He ain't playing
Um,
Pepe.
we're
How,
going to need
how,
something because
yeah.
I
I
worry
mean, the
about
thing that
Gareth Bale.
I've got a question for you, Neomis. How are you
Sure.
not a Pepe fan? Because you can go on YouTube and you can find videos just dedicated to Pepe. And he's nuts in people left, right, and center. He's spinning people left, right, and center. And you're like, bruh, this guy really can ball. Now, I've
No,
yet to see that video for Willian.
the, Oh no! The thing is, Pepe has the skills. For me, it's always been the consistency with Willian. Willian for so many games shouldn't have even been anywhere near in the squad. Like Pepe, just because of his price tag, Pepe should have been the one Arteta forcing to kind of get things going and forcing to play. Like Willian. I thought when we signed Willian, he was just going to be a guy that we signed. He's got Premier League experience. If players are injured, he's going to come on and do a job. Sort of like a Monreal. I'll give you a 7 out of 10 performance. Nothing flashy, nothing like bad or anything like that. And that's it. I never thought he'd play as much as he has. But for me, it's always just been about his price tag and his consistency. And recently, he's been showing consistency. So that's why I think he should play. But it's like you said earlier on. Arteta has his favourites. And yeah, I just think that performances on the pitch almost don't matter to him as much. I think he's just trying to justify players that he's really wanted in the club. And I hope that on Sunday it doesn't really affect that. But I do think that there will be certain surprises. going forward in the starting lineup. And you can see that there from Apollo's starting lineup, which has got Leno in goal, obviously. Chambers, surprising. Holding, Gabriel. Tierney, Partey, El Nene, Saka, ESR, Pepe, and Lacazette. That's a lot different from what I thought. I'd be very surprised if he played if he had Aubameyang on the bench. But it's a starting lineup.
I think that's the exact team that he's going to go with, minus Pepe and Lacazette. I think he's going to have Willian instead of Pepe, and I think he's going to have Orba instead of Lacazette, because Chambers is going to play, because that's why he played him in the last game, because he wants to get him up to speed and have a more defensive back line against Tottenham. I told you, bro, this is going to be a cagey game, man. We're not going to be going mad and gung-ho and all that. He's going to try and be organised, 2 banks of 4. You saw him practicing that against Olympiacos, yeah? If you watch us out of possession, we were so organised, bro. It's mad. It's mad how we were making mistakes that were letting them in, because more time in that game, we were so 2 banks of 4. It was like instantly, as soon as we lost the ball, 2 banks of 4. It's like he's been drilling it into them because he knows Tottenham are coming. So, I think he's shook of Bale and Kane together. I think he's shook. So
honestly, go on.
We're gonna see a mad defensive performance. That's why he's playing Partey, El Neni. I agree with that team. That's what I think he's gonna go with. Maybe not Holding as well. I think he's probably put David Luiz in there. But that team is what I think.
For me, I agree with the exact back line that he's got. The only thing I will say is I don't think he will put El Nene in there because he loves Xhaka and he has to play Xhaka for some reason. I think Willian will be in there in the free. Odegaard, I think, will play just because of the goal that he scored, and I think he wants to keep that going. And then instead of Lacazette, I think he'll put Aubameyang in there because he loves Aubameyang. But I'd be surprised if Lacazette starts. I'd be surprised if Smith Rowe starts, but I'd love it because I know Smith Rowe. Like, if you're talking North London derby, coming out of our academy, they know what it's all about. So yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Apollo, can you put your team back up again?
I actually agree with you there, almost very quickly. I agree with you there. I don't think I didn't agree with Klopp. ESR is not going to play either, man. It's going to be Odegaard, and I didn't Klopp. Xhaka weren't in there. He's always going to play under Arteta, man. It's like he's like him and Willian have got something on Arteta, bro. I'm telling you, they got something on him, some dirty pictures or.
That's what I'd be joking about because it's so strange.
Why, bro? Like, why? We can all see, yeah. Like we always talk about the eye test, and that's why Saka always gets in the team. Why do you guys? What is it you see? Can you explain to me? Yeah, put yourself in Arteta's shoes. Yeah, can you explain why Xhaka, when we can all see that would often be better with Partey and El Neni or Partey and Ceballos or whatever? Why always Xhaka? What is it about him? Like, I don't understand it.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, he has some decent games every now and again, but I just think you could find a way around not using Granit Xhaka. But was it Greg G says, I just realized why I'm the only person who comments on the page. Vince, Tony, Michelle, Guna Nicholson, Mr. Mark T. Thompson, Niguna. But yeah.
So let me break down this team that you put up, Apollo, because my immediate question is why Chambers over Cedric?
Well, yeah.
I think that's what Arteta is going to go with for a more defense. He's more solid defensively, Chambers. That's why I think Apollo is going with that.
Is he really? Is he really more?
Yeah,
because
yeah, he is.
Your biggest threat is Son breaking the line, and Son breaking a line. Who do I trust more to catch up with Son, or to at least be able to keep up with Son, if it's Chambers or Cedric?
I hear you on that one, yeah, but I don't think Cedric's catching Son either, mate. He's quicker than anyone. He's quick. Bellerin's not quick either no more. Like, so we ain't got no one that's catching up with him. Like, I just feel like Chambers, yeah, is better at reading the game defensively than someone like Cedric. I don't agree with that. I'd rather Cedric be in there all day long, fam. But I'm saying that's what Arteta with his mad sort of brain is going to go with that, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean the Chambers thing for me is just really very very strange, because I was convinced before last week that we'd seen the last of Chambers and he would be one of those players that we would not see again at Arsenal after the summer. Because obviously you've got to look at how well Dino Mavropanos is playing right now at Stuttgart, how well Saliba is playing at his club, and then you've got your Mari, Gabriel, Holding, Louise to contend with. So Chambers for me was like the forgotten centre back, and I appreciate that he brings, his experience at Fulham, where he was very good in his holding midfielder role. And to be honest, not really sure why he hasn't potentially been even given an opportunity to maybe even try and reignite that kind of position in, a holding two with a party. But certainly at right back, I see that as a bit of a strange one, because the one thing that Cedric has shown is that he can produce at both ends of the pitch. Where Bellerin fails is his interaction up the top of the pitch with a Pepe or a Saka. Cedric shows he can do that. And I'm still not 100% convinced on Cedric, but the stats have shown his passing between him and the right wing back, Saka. I think in the last game he played, there was 30 passes between the two, whereas the previous game between Bellerin and Saka, there was only 9 passes.
No, it's Pepe. I think it's Pepe you're on about. Him and Pepe. Yeah.
Right.
The way they linked up more than 4 times as many times in one game as him and Bellerin. Yeah.
And that tells me something, because I'm certain if you look across the pitch to the left-hand side, the link-up play between Tierney and any player playing down that side is massive.
It's always good. Yeah, that's why Willian is doing really well.
Yeah. So I see, if I'm the manager, I'm looking at things like that, and I've always said it. You've got to build partnerships. You've got to build a 1-2 punch down the left, a 1-2 punch down the right, and your spine down the middle.
Yeah.
Fully agree. I'm just trying to find that stat. I posted the stat in the 101 group on Facebook. I'm just trying to find it. I actually posted it about the link ups with Bellerin and Pepe. It was unbelievably mad, like how many times and you know what I noticed as well, it was trending on Twitter that everyone noticed that no one was passing to Bellerin last time we played. Like no one was passing to him. Like I swear there was a whole list of tweets about it. Why no one passing to Bellerin? They don't trust him no more. Because if we look at him, we look panicked every time he gets the ball up front. Now he panics, bro. That's why he's always been that guy that goes backwards and passes back. Like he's got a chance to take on a defender or make the run around the outside. But what he does is he'll get the ball and then panic and turn back and pass it. Exactly what Xhaka does. He's like a Xhaka at right back. So. That's why I just feel like I don't trust him no more, man. I'd rather, but and also Tony, I agree with you 100% on Chambers, bro. 100%. We should be trying him at CDM or something, because that's a position we've traditionally lacked in. Although we're quite stuck there now. Like in the past, we've needed someone, and we had the Fulham's Player of the Year at CDM, and then we didn't play him there. And he's not good at right back. He's too slow. Like you know what it is with Chambers, his reading of the game is excellent. His reading of the game is top notch, but he's too slow to actually implement that. Do you see what I mean? Like, so I agree with Cedric all day long. He's like a slightly worse Tierney for me. Do you know what I mean? You see what Tierney does? He does everything the same, but slightly a little bit worse. Maybe his passing accuracy is a bit better. Like he can play some nice long balls. But so I feel like we're more balanced even with Cedric on the right and Tierney on the left. Like in terms of our wing backs, we're way more balanced like that. It just don't make sense to me that why he don't play. Maybe he's picked up a knock, or maybe he got rude to the manager and he's been outcasted like several other players. You know what I mean? You don't know, man. You just don't like certain people in it. Like you will never. Why give him the contract if you're not going to play him? That's what I don't see.
Well, I mean, Arteta
I'm a
must.
Xhaka lover. Wow. 18's going in
Complete.
hard on me, bro.
Oh my! I mean, we
Allow
haven't
me.
even we haven't even been talking about Xhaka that much. I mean, now it's just giving was it Chambers a bit of love. Who I think probably the reason why he's been why he played him at Burnley is his contract is due to finish at the end of next season, and maybe he wants to keep him. But I do think a decision needs to be made. I mean, Chambers is 25 now, so it's what you're going to give him
Is
another
he
5 year
25?
deal? Yeah, like he's been around for ages. Like Wenger hardly used him, and then Wenger loaned him out. And I get it, he wasn't ready back then, but he's been
He's
out on
26.
loan.
He's 26, dude. 26 in
20,
January.
oh,
Okay.
20. Oh, that's even
Definitely
worse.
more reason to get rid of it. Like I don't know why we're
Yeah,
trying. It's just yeah, but like I say, I think that's what he's planning a tactic. Like how Pep like will play Fernandinho and centre back to try and do something tactically. I feel like that's what he's doing with Chambers, and that's why he played him in the last game. He's trying to like make it so we have three centre backs essentially, but we still play with a back line of four people. I think that's what he's
yeah.
trying to do, man. But
Hey,
yeah,
Welcome, Bertram. Good morning.
Good morning,
Bertram.
or good afternoon, I should say. How you doing, Danny? Miss Tony, how's it going?
big up, man.
Good, thanks.
Very well, very well.
I think people are misrepresenting me when it comes to Saka. Xhaka. I'm no great lover of his. Look, I'll go back and talk about the horses and the stallions and the donkeys at the start of the season. And I was telling people, look, Xhaka is a donkey. I don't want him in my team. And I have never changed my mind. But what I do realize is he's steadied the methodology of play, the whole style of play. He steadied it. And it got to a point where you could say, you know what? I'll take that Xhaka if it's devoid of mistakes. When the
that's never
mistakes
going to
come
happen.
back,
That's never going to happen, though, bro. He's a brain. He's a guy that has brain thoughts. Like he does certain things well. I was saying this on to the African Guna when we were doing a preview for the Olympiacos game, right? He's a guy that has certain things that he does very well. Yeah, but it's the negatives of his game that make it that far outweigh those positives. So like he's got a certain ball that he plays on the outside of his boot to the wingers that is really good at getting the attack moving. Do you know what I mean? But then the fact is it will take ages on the ball. So you've negated that fact that you can get the attack moving by taking too long on the ball. It's like this is what, and then also his mistakes, like you just said, yeah, you're never gonna get Xhaka without mistakes. They go hand in hand. He's just one of them guys. So you like him as well, isn't it, Bertrand?
Is it that you're not going to get Xhaka without mistake or Arsenal without mistake? Xhaka maybe more, but Leno makes a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I got something to say
David
about
Luiz
that.
makes worse mistakes than Xhaka. David Luiz mistakes are beyond awful. So when we talk about goals scored since 2016 for Xhaka, and I think Apollo puts up 9, how many penalties have David Luiz given away? Just penalties. Forget about mistakes. Just penalties.
Yeah.
So it's not, Xhaka unfortunately gets punished for his mistake. David Luiz's mistake on Thursday was worse than Xhaka's mistake, as bad as Xhaka's mistake against Burnley, frankly. Xhaka went the goal. Because David Luiz gave the ball to the kid. If it was Kane, if it was Bale, if it was Son, it's a goal. All he had to do was tap the ball and the goal. David Luiz's mistakes are renowned. That's why Chelsea got rid of him. Brilliant footballer, left, right foot, comfortable on the ball, cannot take pressure. That's why he should be on the back, because he can't take pressure. Second, Danny?
It's been career long with Luiz.
But we still playing him. Arsenal fans are not killing him like they're killing Xhaka.
Nah, but I kill Luiz as well. But I just feel like with Xhaka, yeah, it's like we can all see that he's the manager's favourite, yeah. Where Luiz does certain things, he'll be out of the lineup, yeah. But with Xhaka, he'll do something, he'll tell the fans to F off, yeah, and then be allowed to play for the club again. If you did that, if you did that on the
18. I'm sorry, Tony, Danny. Let me respond to 18. 18. I was born in the UK. I grew up in Jamaica. I lived in America for a long time. I'm international. I don't consider myself to be one-dimensional, one country. So I have a UK passport, and I still live in the UK for a while. I understand the UK. That's why I love football. I grew up playing football all my life. This has nothing to do with me being American or whatever it is. This is about logical thinking, deductive reasoning, and objectivity. And that's what we lack as a people, is objectivity. So think about it this way. Xhaka makes a mistake, and we guys kill him. Are you killing Leno and Ceballos for the mistake on Thursday? Where's the F Ceballos? No, where's the F Ceballos in the forum? Because he did the same thing against, he almost knocked us out against Benfica. What did he do the week before against Benfica? He created 2 mistakes that almost cost us the game. He had to get pulled from the game. He created 1 again last week. Why are we seeing 18 and Cool K killing Ceballos? And he's a loanee, for Christ's sake.
You know why? You know why though, Bertram? Because we've had Ceballos for 2 years, and he's only just started doing that now. Yeah, we've had Xhaka since 2016, brother. That's 5 years of it, bro. 5 years.
You know what the funny thing is, Dan? The funny thing about Ceballos is, how many goals has he scored in the 2 years he's been at Arsenal? How many assists
hardly any
has he created in the 2 years at Arsenal?
But think about it like this: how many goals did Wilshere score? How many goals did Wilshere score? How many, like we've had midfielders, centre mids throughout the years that haven't produced, man. But let me get back to that thing I was saying about what was I saying about Xhaka? Yeah, this, if you think about it like this, yeah, Xhaka telling the fans to F off. Imagine that happened under George Graham. Imagine that happened while Tony Adams or Vieira was in the dressing room. Would that guy ever play for Arsenal again? No, his jaw would have been swinging, fam, and he would have been out of the door, fam. They would have spun his head over. Are you mental? That's from that moment there. I said Xhaka has no credit in the bank for me. So like, I don't care. Like I can watch him objectively and say, okay, he played well in that game. You can find posts in the group where I've said that. But at the same time, like this guy he should have been done 2 years ago. He should have been gone. But like, so we've allowed a player like that to fester in our club.
Danny, why did you tell the fans to do whatever they do to off? Why did you tell them that? Why did Xhaka tell the fans that? Wait, why did Xhaka tell the fans that?
I don't care. I don't care, bro.
So the fans can do anything. The fans can do anything. The fans can tell you to F off and you can't say. Is that what you're saying?
No, listen, go
if you pay me 150 grand a week, you can tell me to go suck my mom every day. I don't care, bro. Say what you want. I don't care.
Danny, knowing your temperament, that's way beyond reality.
I'm not telling the whole stadium of fans. As a professional football player, I'm not. So if you come up to me one-on-one and say that, I'll spark you. But if it's a stadium of fans and I'm a professional football player for Arsenal Football Club, you cannot say F off to all the fans. You can't do it. You just can't. No Arsenal player in history has ever done that. If you did that at Man United, you'd be out the door.
He was pointing in the air.
I don't think at any other club in the league you could get away with doing that except Arsenal. We're soft.
So you know what? It's not Xhaka's fault he's playing Danny. Emery played him.
That's true.
Well, no, Wenger played him. Emery played him. Longberg played him. Arteta keeps playing every game. What are we missing?
That's what I'm saying. Can you provide a reason why he always plays? I asked the man them that earlier. Yeah. Can you provide a reason why he always plays?
No. Before you go to the audience, ask the managers that. Which is, why do all these managers, and Wenger was a great manager, let's not get it twisted. Wenger was great. People like Arteta. Emery's a good manager. He's won UEFA Cup. He's managed PSG. Why they keep playing this player and we're saying he's no good?
Bertram, you have no idea. I want all these mistake-prone players. Leno, eventually he needs to go. Xhaka, Ceballos needs to go. Like, those are the ones whereby they are costing this club through critical times, and eventually it will happen. So Apollo says, listen guys, it doesn't matter about our opinions on Xhaka. The fact is, as long as he's here, we will never make top 4. Fact.
Same can be said about
I don't agree with that because we should made top 4 in Emirates last season.
Yeah. We've got several players like that we're not going to ever finish in the top 4 until they're gone. And then, but now it's down to about 3. It's only down to about 3 players where we need to get rid of them. And then we're like Luis, Bellerin, and Xhaka. I think once we get rid of them 3, we can start to build properly. Do you get me?
I would
it's not only those 3, right? It's because I think the team. Go ahead, Tony. You going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say I would add to that list Ceballos.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be gone.
Yeah, but he's going to be gone anyway. We ain't going to buy him. We ain't buying him.
I agree.
He's not good enough.
Yeah. But he's on loan, so it's easier, isn't it?
Here's the problem with the team that people don't seem to realize. So we keep talking about how great Saka is, and I agree he's a very good player. I'm not going to use the word great, because great is being overrated nowadays. But Saka doesn't score a lot of goals. William doesn't score a lot of goals. Then he put all the pressure on and midfield doesn't score. So we expect Aubameyang to score all the goals. That's why Pepe needs to play. You don't have enough firepower up front to have the luxury of playing Saka and William in the same team. You just don't. Saka may be a great on the ball, but Saka is not putting the ball in the net. So when people give me a hard time,
we said that earlier, Bertrand.
Yeah.
We were saying
I didn't hear that. I missed that. I didn't hear that.
But it's you're 100% right. We did say that earlier. Like Pepe produces more than any of the other wingers, but we were giving Saka a bit more credit because he's young and he kind of makes his own opportunities for himself. Where Willian don't even do that.
Pepe has scored 8 goals this season. 8. He's 2
and he
away
doesn't start
from
a lot of games. He's not starting.
And he doesn't start the game.
Yeah.
How does a guy get dismissed and he scored 8 goals?
Do you know who it reminds me of? This situation reminds me of, remember when we had Podolski? And Podolski used to be firing and score a hat-trick in Europe, and then the next game we benched for about 5 games. It reminds me of that situation. And them times there, we didn't have no good striker, you know. Giroud weren't at his top level that he was ever at. So we had no good striker. We'd play Podolski, he score a hat-trick, bench. We'll play Lucas Perez, he score a hat-trick, bench. Like, it just reminds me of that situation. He's one of them players where he'll perform and then just bench. Like, I don't get it.
Well, we are wingers score because people like Theo to score a goal. People didn't like Theo, but Theo put the ball in the net. Right? You had Theo, you had Giroud, you had other players. Oh, wingers need to score a goal. No way in football nowadays the wingers don't score, right? People say, oh, well, they're wingers, they should score. Well, you know what? Liverpool wingers score. Spurs wingers score, especially now Bale is on form. You have Zaha plays wing, he scores for Palace. Wingers need to score a goal. As who is going to score those goals? Because Arsenal midfielders are not goal scorers. Yeah. That's our struggle. I don't understand the manager.
You look at Liverpool and they don't play a striker per se. I mean, Firmino's probably as close to a striker as they have because Mane and Salah are pretty much wingers.
Yeah, they are wingers, except they put the ball in the net, right? Because the way they play, he plays deep, and then he plays like a false 9, 10, that hybrid role. So he allows the 3 midfielders to play deeper. One of them are chipping a goal here and there, but their midfielders don't score a lot of goals either. Fabinho is not scoring, Henderson is not scoring, but they get the goals from their front 3. We don't have that. And here's another thing too. We talk about stats, right? We talk about stats. So look at ABBA stats. What ABBA has, like 9 goals?
Yeah.
5 came in 2 games. Now think about that. So if you play 20-something games, 25 games, you score 5 in 2 games. So you only score 4 in over 20 games. That's why we struggle. So now we have Luiz and Gabriel needs to score on set pieces because we're not getting the goals from our outfield players who are playing in the front. You know, the 3 strikers, we're going to call them, 2 wingers and a center forward, plus our midfielders are not scoring. That's why the team will struggle. And against Spurs tomorrow, I dread if they press us and we play from the back. My hope is that what Arteta will do is look, every strategy has a flaw in it in terms of attacking it. So if you press your front 4, there got to be space behind that front 4. If you decide to close the gap, there got to be space behind your defense. So we shouldn't just be playing out from the back and creating pressure on ourselves. We should play the ball behind their front 4 because they play more up. They're going to play 4 high. Or if they want to do like City does and Liverpool does and try to squeeze you, you play Aubameyang up top and you try to get behind the defense because their 2 center halves are slow. Otherwise, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like you were just talking a minute ago about wingers scoring and stuff. Like Liverpool don't have wingers; they have inside forwards. That's the difference here. We have wingers, and that's the problem. We're not letting our wingers. Pepe is supposed to be an inside forward playing on that right hand side, but we expect him to be a winger, and then everyone moans when he keeps cutting back on his left foot to cross the ball in because he's not playing as an inside forward. He's meant to be dropping inside and having someone on the overlap, and that's why he plays so well with Cedric. What we were saying earlier, because Cedric provides the overlap and the width that Pepe can cut in from. Bellerin doesn't provide that. Bellerin cuts in all the time. If you watch Bellerin play, he cuts into the middle of the pitch all the time, which means Pepe has to stay wide, and then he's on his weak foot. You see it?
In all honesty, there's no point in sometimes these players playing outside because let's be honest, how many headers do we score as a team?
Yeah, that's true.
There's no point.
Yeah. We need to go back to what we used to do when we had Thierry and Perez and all that, man, where wingers would run right to the byline and cut the ball back. That's how we need to
look at the
to
way
play,
we used to play Bergkamp and Theo. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, but Tony, in those days, Tony,
Lundberg was
first of
no
all,
great baller. Lundberg was no great baller. But you know what? You put the ball in front of him, in front of the goal, he scores.
well,
Yeah,
here's
but
the
that
difference.
was we had that with
He's
Ramsey.
not beating free man.
We
He
had that
had
with-
half the talent of Pepe.
Yeah, but here's
But
the
he
difference,
just
Tony.
knows how
First of
to
all,
score.
that team could keep the ball. So we gotta understand that. They could keep the ball. We can't keep the ball. That's our problem. We can't keep the ball. It doesn't make sense you have all this strategy, you can't keep the ball, right? City keeps the ball. Even Liverpool in their struggling, they keep the ball. We don't keep the ball. So then people like Pepe don't get enough touches to really show the capability. And Pepe needs to learn to play football, frankly. He's improving immensely in terms of defensively and not losing the ball, but he needs to learn to play football. He's very, very skillful. Don't get that wrong, right? He's probably the most skillful player apart from Grealish in the Premier League. And Zaha. Very, very skillful. But you got to learn to play football. You got to know when to pass, when to beat, when to move. He doesn't exhibit all those qualities consistently enough. That's why he doesn't have the coach's confidence. Arteta plays William a lot because William plays both sides of the ball really well. Williams is more secure in possession. But at the end of the day, you got to play Pepe because he creates havoc if given the opportunity.
Willian is not more secure in possession. This is what I'm trying to say to you. The Burnley game, Willian had 12 take-ons. He lost the ball every single time, bro. He lost the ball. He did not have one successful dribble in that game. He tried to take on players 12 times and lost the ball every time. Pepe don't do that. Like I was saying to the African Guna the other day, yeah, Pepe, in some aspects, don't get me wrong here, I'm not comparing the two players, but it reminds me of Sanchez. Them man, yeah, they will get the ball and they'll try so many things that oftentimes they're not going to work. Like Sanchez used to lose the ball the most in the Arsenal team. I think he used to have like a 70% pass ratio in a game. But because he would try so many things, oftentimes they would come off and it would lead to a goal. And that's why you need someone like Pepe in the team where they can just try shit. And it might not always work, but at least we're probing and trying to get in there. And we don't really have that with Willian because he keeps losing the ball, fam. Do you see what I mean? He'll try and run at players and lose the ball, or he'll play a safe pass. And that's not, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Big shout out to my guy Jigesh. Nice to see you in the chat, brother.
Definitely. Kane penalty is inevitable. You know that.
Yeah. There'll be lots of diving.
That's why we can't have David Luiz on the pitch, boys.
Apollo, bring your team back up again for me. I want to go through that bit by bit, so we kind of dissect every part of it.
He never got kicked, cool key. He's got dodgy
so
internet.
let's talk about Tierney is a given. What does Tierney have to do? Gabriel and Tierney. What does Tierney have to do this game? Because his job's going to be massive this game. I mean, we obviously know what he can do offensively, but we also got to be aware, what has he got to do defensively? Because right now, if Bale is purring like he does, Tierney's got a job, right?
You're right there, but Bale's lost a lot of his pace, so in that sense, if we can just give him that Scottish sort of roughing up, then he might have a chance. So that's how I think he's got to deal with Bale. He's just got to, like how Robertson does for. Have you ever watched the highlights of the shithousery that Robertson does for Liverpool? Have you ever seen the highlights of it, bro? He's one of the most dirty players in the league, and no one notices that, you know. You see some of the stuff he does is unreal, fam. And that's what I feel like Tierney needs to do, a bit of that Glaswegian stuff on Bale, just rough him up a bit. He won't like it, bro. I'm telling you. Because he gets injured, he's paper thin. So I think he'll be trying to show him the studs a couple of times, not too bait, keep it down, but give him the studs a couple of times, step on his foot, all that kind of shithousery. That's what he needs to do to him. That's how I feel like Tierney can handle Bale, you know. That's what I think.
And thinking about this, isn't this one of them games where you just wish we had Ainsley Maitland-Niles?
Yeah, in the midfield.
Because he would stamp some of that stuff out, man. You know how Ainsley does it. Ainsley's a Donny. He's a Donny when it comes to brocking up a player, brocking up play.
We would immediately nullify our Bale on that right. Immediately. No way that he'll have to get taken off.
Yeah, but that's what Xhaka's gonna do. But he's gonna end up getting red carded, isn't it?
It kind of makes me kind of think like, you know, and Neomis knows this one. You know, when you've got certain players in the NFL, you have to have dogs around the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what sometimes you look at us and you think, are we lacking some dogs?
Yeah, if
Some
only we had
players
Torreira. If only we had Torreira, innit? Because he was that guy.
Against Spurs was a Donny. It was bad.
Was it first season? What, scored a goal?
Was against Spurs.
I don't see. That's a whole nother conversation to talk about Arteta. Like, anyway.
I understand why Arteta doesn't like Torreira. I actually do.
I mean, I get it. He's short, but he can do a job.
It's not just being short. I think when we play, I remember when we played, I think it was Liverpool in those teams, and I'm watching, and Man U, I'm watching the game, I'm thinking, he doesn't belong out there. He's being overrun athletically, entirely, and you watch the game, you're thinking, I can see why some managers may not like his game. No, he's a dogged player. You know, he can play, but when you're that statue, because he's not like he's thick and strong, he's a tough player, but you gotta have either exceptional skill, you gotta have like Kante athleticism, because Kante can run all game. Otherwise, it's gonna be a challenge in the Premier League. It's a physical, strong, fast-moving league, and he gets left behind sometimes. Now, he was great against Spurs, and he scored against Spurs when we played that great game, but I don't see the consistency from Torreira that you need. We need to replace Xhaka with someone who's athletic in the midfield.
Yeah.
So Bissouma, the kid from Leeds, what's his name? One who was injured the other day. I like him. Plays deep for Leeds. He was injured, just came back. He played today. Phillips, I like Bissouma. They're very good players who can get around the park, who can make a pass, who can play between the lines. You need players that have all those skill sets, because we have one-dimensional players in our team. We have players like Aubameyang who can only score. We have players like William who can score. I don't know what he does nowadays, actually. We have too many one-dimensional players. We need more rounded players. David Luiz, who creates errors. Xhaka, who is a walking error like David Luiz. We have too much of that. I don't know what we do tomorrow, frankly, because Spurs are feeling their oats, so it's going to be a long day.
But you never know these games, man. Like they always say that cliche, innit? Form goes out the window in a derby, and like you never ever know. That season that we were talking about when Torreira played out of his socks and we beat them 4-1, was it? I think. Yeah. No one expected that game, bro. No one expected it. Like no one expected it, and it came. So you can never say that. But I do agree that the chances are slim pickings, boy.
If we play Pepe tomorrow, look, you want to make the opposition fear you, right? I'm not fearing William if I'm playing. Yes, Aubameyang, I may double up on him. And then Saka is not scoring. So even though a very good player, you got to create fear. That's why Partey got pulled the other day. People don't realize that. I don't care what Arteta says. He wants Partey in that game. He realized if he wins that game, you get fans' spirit up. They'll forgive you for the next 4 games of well, you play or don't play. Yep. He wants to put a blanket around Partey, take him off the field, go ice him down. Because the last game Partey got hurt really bad was the Spurs game. And he walked off the field. He played him when he came back too early, which I actually agree that he should have played him because we were desperate at that point. But he played him too early, came back, got injured, and it's been a rocky season since. So at the end of the day, Partey didn't play well against Olympiacos, but I think the way Spurs are going to play, he fits that mold. Because they're going to attack us, and then he's going to turn and create more space going forward and create more space behind the defense because he can make the long pass and the short pass. And he likes to play in the tight space. He's not like Xhaka who can't play in the tight space. He likes to play in the tight space.
See, now look at Apollo. Apollo, please explain. How are you working this out that Willian will score? Man,
Apollo is married, Apollo.
Has not scored a goal, has not put a goal up, a shot on target. Yet you're telling us to believe you. You know what this sounds like? Do you know how crazy this sounds? This is insanity. So basically, just keep playing him. Just keep playing him. He will score. Do you know what? If I played for Arsenal and you just give me the ball, guaranteed 1 in 100 games, I'm going to score a worldie.
or if I take 20 corners, I would hope Dalise and Lewis can hit them in and give me great assists, so I look wonderful.
Yeah.
I would hope on set pieces, Pepe can take a set piece like William can with same accuracy. So I don't get impressed by that. I get impressed by you can create your own goals, you can score goals,
See, look,
you can create mismatches. I don't get enamored by what William does.
Talking about laws of averages. I don't care for laws of averages. If Jack can shoot 100 times, he'll score once. Laws of average. Laws of average don't work for me.
Tony. Wait. So William has played about 27, 28 games, and his average is 0, Apollo. Now, how much 0 into 0 is how much, Apollo? What do you expect to get from average from 0?
It's nonsensical, bro.
If William scores tomorrow,
the averages of the laws of average are not what you're about. Listen, you know what even compounds this more is that Apollo is a Utah Jazz fan, and he's telling us all the time about how great the average of the Utah Jazz, the 3-point average, they're number 1 in the league. They're this, they're that, they're so good. And now he's coming around and saying, but listen, I'm such a stats man for my Utah Jazz and my Redskins. But when it comes to Arsenal, I'm going to throw it out the window.
So William has played 27 games, 0 goals. Let me repeat. 27 games, 0 goals. And Apollo said, by law of average, you're going to score tomorrow against Spurs, one of the better teams. Now, it may happen, Apollo. Knock on wood. I hope it happens, actually. I hope he scores 2 goals. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath about him scoring. Because I think it's Danny who said he hasn't had a shot on target.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually. That's amazing for a winger.
That's not bad.
That is amazing.
He looks like, you see, if you look at his face when he's playing, you can just tell we don't believe it. He don't believe that he's going to do anything in the game. Like he does, like he passes the ball accurately. He's got them basic skills that a football player would have after like 15 years playing football or whatever. But like when it comes to like actually taking a chance or taking a player on and beating a player, you can tell we just don't. But that's where the confidence comes into play, and that you can tell we don't believe it, bro. Like you just don't believe it. That's why I'm telling you, look up the stats for the game against Burnley. I think it was. He did not beat a player 1 time in the match, and he took them on 12 times. That is shameful for a winger. That's your whole job. Your whole job is to take a player on and beat them and put the ball in the box or in the net. And my man's not doing that, bro. That's what I'm saying.
That's awful.
Yeah, by the way,
Apollo's doing the reverse psychology. He's trying to say, if I say he's going to score, because he always does the opposite, then that means...
What kind of mental state have you got to be in?
That's what William's done to him, fam. William's done that to him, cuz. He's been watching.
Apollo needs to get up more. Apollo needs to get up more. Apollo, you need to get up. Go walk.
No, but you know what's going to end. But the thing is, you know what's going to end up happening. We're criticizing Apollo, but William will find some way to score.
He'll bang one in. He'll do a worldie like a big 25-yarder and top.
It'd be an Odegaard with me saying, you know what, Odegaard's a good player, but he hasn't scored, and then he scored.
Yeah.
Then African Bruno says, yes, I told you. And I'm like, it's his first goal. Let's relax, actually. We played much more games before.
Shooting, though, listen to this, guys, What do you lot think of Thomas Partey's shooting? I've got some thoughts on it. I think he's one of the worst strikers of the ball I've ever seen in my life. I've not seen this guy do a shot that hasn't gone wide by miles or over by miles, bro.
So no, actually, he's hit the target. I've seen him shoot. He scored from distance at Atletico. I think.
That's what I'm saying. What is it at Arsenal? Like this guy seems to have he shoots like I don't know, man. He shoots like a blind sniper, buff. Like I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think for him, he's trying too hard. He's trying too hard. He's trying to justify his price tag too much.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, Dan. I honestly agree that his shooting has been poor for Arsenal. But I give him credit because in his previous team, he was a scorer of goals. And most times it was from outside the box. So you kind of give someone some credence when they've got history. And that's what we all gave Willian, because we all realised that Willian, when he came to Arsenal last season, he had a good season.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go, you know what? It's coming. It's not going to be bad all the time. So I think we need to give that same patience with Partey, because realise, you know, he's coming into a new league. It's not like he's William, where he's been in the league for several years. So I think we've seen what he can do at Atletico. He's had his injuries, but let's give him a little bit of leeway, because we know what we have. We know he's a stallion.
Oh, this
And the
question
shooting
here,
will
boy.
come. I'm certain it will come.
I'm not slating him for it. I don't. His job is not to bang goals in the top bins, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not his job. His job is to maintain in front of the defense, keep the ball turning over. Do you know what I mean? Keep possession of the ball and stuff like that. I'm just saying. I noticed it in the last game. I was like, this guy's shooting is mad, you know, fam. Like he's just belling it over the top all the time. But see the question down there, boys. What in the name has happened to Martinelli? Arteta. That's what's happened. End of story. Next question.
Agree. I second that.
Oh man.
He's dead enough.
Look, you can't play everyone, right? But you have to realize that when you look at Chelsea play, since Tuchel's come in, all their players have basically played. Now, they haven't played every game, but what he's trying to do is keep harmony, rotate his players, who has what attributes, what skill set, who can play well, try to match up with the opponent. Arteta is one-dimensional. Now, look, Arteta's in a different situation because I don't know what he's doing, frankly, because he's not going to get fired, so he can take more risks. He's not getting fired. No matter what he does this year, he's not getting fired. He's doing a good job of getting us down the table. We went from 5th to 8th, now we're at 10. So he's doing a good job of going the wrong certain direction. But he's not getting fired, no matter what he does. So he has more leeway to play players. What's a rubbish player? Rotation when players taking turn playing, Martinelli ain't playing. No, but you missed my point, though. The point I was making about Tuchel is that he's rotating his players. Arteta is not rotating his players.
Yep.
He's once in a while. I'm not sure he knows what he's doing, because you seen play Mari 1 point, Holding was locked in. As soon as a player get injured or COVID protocol or something out, they don't come right back in, because Gabriel took a while to come back in. I mean, Gabriel took a couple of dodgy games. So I'm not sure how he's determining who plays and when they don't play. Tony's right about him playing Chambers. I know why he played Chambers against Burnley. It was all about the aerial presence of Burnley and him wanting to have very tall people in the back to get those headers out, because I don't think Burnley can play on the ground. So he will sacrifice that speed on the wing to get tall players in there like Chambers who can head the ball out. I think that's the only threat Burnley presents to his team. But at the same time, where's Cedric? What happened to Cedric? He just disappeared. So I'm not sure he knows what his best team is. And
can I just say something on Martinelli, though, guys? Yeah, I noticed this. You see, when Arteta first joined, before lockdown, and then before Martinelli got injured, say, yeah, remember when he picked up his big injury? Yeah, Arteta never played him, and he only played him just before he got injured, and then like he played him like two sub appearances, and he got injured. Arteta does not rate Martinelli. I'm telling you now. If you watch, he never played him before. And then he got injured, so he had an excuse not to play him. And then now he's been back. He put him in quickly, and then he hasn't played him since. So this guy doesn't rate Martinelli. There's a lot of young players where Arteta doesn't rate them, and it reminds me of Pep. How Pep don't really give young players a chance and too tough and that. Like it reminds me of them sort of managers there, or them old Chelsea managers where youth like Salah and that would have to leave to get a chance and stuff. And I feel like that's what we're turning into. We're turning into a team that relies on people like Willian. Yeah, we're talking about squad harmony. You ain't having squad harmony when Willian can go and break COVID protocol and go to Brazil and that, and then come back and be in the team the next day. And then players like Pepe won't play, even though they've been on form and stuff. We're never going to have harmony. That's why people like Saliba have been arguing with him. That's why Guendouzi was arguing with him. That's why Martinelli ain't playing. That's why all these incidents keep happening behind the scenes. And Leno the other day told this is fact. Yeah, it was all over the thing today. fact, had an argument with Arteta about the goalkeeping coach, right? Some Inaki guy, some Spanish goalkeeping coach is that I don't like him. I want Woodman, who's that Sam Woodman's dad, who's our head of goalkeeping. He's like, I want him to be coaching me. Arteta's like, nah.
Wow.
And now he's sacking Woodman. He's sacking Woodman at the end of the season and keeping the Inaki guy in charge. So Arteta has a problem with man management. And I don't care. Like, you're going to see it eventually when he leaves. All these stories will come out about how he's lacking in man management. That's his biggest issue. And that's why you're seeing players like Willian, yes men, always in the team. Because they're yes men. They do whatever he says. Do you see what I mean?
So no, Danny,
people like Martinelli ain't playing. That's what
let's back up for a second. First of all, every player, if we all play football, every player has a problem with the coach if they're not playing. If I'm not playing, I have a problem with the coach. Because I think I should be playing. Fundamentally. Yeah. Every player, I've been on a team where coach doesn't play me, I just quit. I'm like, you know what, you're not playing me, but I think I should be starting. I'm just gonna walk away. You get paid money, you're not doing that. That's the first thing. Secondly, you can't say Arthur don't play young players. He's played Saka. He's played Tierney. He was playing Willock somewhat.
No, he had no choice.
He was forced to play them.
No. I'm not saying it, but he could have forced them to do the same to play Martinelli, even though Martinelli came back. I think what he does is he loves. Think about it this way: you only have 2 slots on the wing, right? William and Saka. That means Pepe, Martinelli, Reece Nelson are playing. It's a fact. He loves William, so one slot is locked up. So you only have 1 slot left. And he's going to give it to Saka.
He gave Reece his chances, man. He gave Reece his chances, and Reece didn't take them. Like, we all saw that for ourselves. We all said Reece ain't ready yet. He needs to go out on loan and stuff like that. Most Arsenal fans were saying that when he had his chances, you know what I'm saying?
But Martinelli had a long-term injury. It was a bad injury. He was out since
but like I say, Bertram, you're ignoring the point that I made, that before his injury, he did not play. And before that injury, Martinelli was on fire, fam. Like, so
no. It's not just
Martinelli. I'm telling you.
It's not just
I'm confident on this, yeah. I guarantee you that when Arteta leaves, because he will leave soon, you know, because he's not good enough, yeah. When he leaves, you're gonna hear all these stories come out about how his man management was awful. I guarantee you. Same way we learned about Emery and his communication, we'll learn about this about Arteta. I guarantee you. You can see it. If you just look at what's happening to our players, you can see it's literally happening before your eyes. Too many players are arguing with the manager, and that don't happen in normal teams.
No, I mean, look, think about Chelsea, for example, with Lampard. It happens in teams. I'm telling you. I'm sure it's happening with Jose. When you're winning, nobody cares. When you're winning, fans don't care. Pundits don't care. No one cares because you're winning. So your methods work. When you're not winning is when this all becomes a problem because you're not winning. He comes in and won an FA Cup. That gives him a 1.5 years minimum to fail, right? So end of this year,
we're a weak club. If that's the case, we're a weak club because you win the league at Chelsea. You'll win the league at Chelsea next year. If you're not performing after 3 months, see you later, mate. And this is modern football, and this is what's pissing me off about Arsenal right now. Yeah, we have no standards, bro. Where are our standards? We're pathetic this year. We're 10th. We're pathetic. We're awful. I've never seen this in Arsenal. This is the worst we've been since the 70s. Yeah. Come on, bruv. Like, what is wrong with Arsenal right now? We're top seat. We're the 3rd most successful team in the country, and we're going on like Burnley. Like, be real. We
were the 3rd most successful team.
Dan. Don't forget we won the FA Cup last year, Dan.
Oh, wow. The FA Cup, the trophy that we win all the time.
Come on, what?
That don't buy you a year and a half. That should buy you 2 months. And if you're not good enough, see you later, bro.
Bro, I understand your passion. I'm as passionate as you are. I've been a Gooner a lot longer than you because obviously I'm a lot older than you are. But I gotta say, we can't disparage our team as badly as you're saying because look, you could have had a choice. If you're born in North London like me, you could have chosen Chelsea. You could have chosen QPR. You could have chosen Arsenal, or you could have chosen Tottenham. Which one would you today choose to go with?
Even now.
I didn't choose based on like my whole family are Spuds. I'm not gonna lie. My dad, my
Seriously.
sister, my brother,
So
all of them.
there is every reason why you should not be disparaging of the fact
So you're
that
smart.
Arsenal
You don't
are where
like
we are
pain. You're
today.
smart. You don't love
I'm not-
pain. You don't love pain.
I'm also born in North London, but I'm born in Northwest. I actually lived closer to Queen's Park. You know, like the actual place, Queen's Park, that Queen's Park Rangers are named
You
after.
and I are both. I'm a Northwest 10 kid.
Yeah, I'm
I
Northwest
was
6,
born in
so
Kensal Rise.
we're around the
I
corner.
live-
Yeah, we're around the corner. I'm from Kilburn High Road, bro. So you get me?
There we
We're from
go.
around the
There we
corner.
go. So we're
Enough of the
of the
nostalgia.
same ilk.
Enough of the nostalgia.
And you know what? I used to sneak into Queen's Park Rangers when I was a kid because it was an easy ground to get into.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say here is, forget all that, because we have standards. A big club is supposed to have standards, right? And our standards, this is modern football. I get back in the day, you give a manager time, you let them think, you let them develop and like figure out the team and etc. Even to people like who's that Man United? Busby, yeah, he finished like 12th and got away with it and stuff like that, and then they let him stay on and that. But this is modern football. Turnover's so quick nowadays, yeah. And if we don't move quick enough, then we miss out on people. We could have had Klopp. Pep wanted to come to us. We could have had those guys, but they decided to hang around and diver. And the same thing's happening now with Arteta. We're just like, oh, let's give him time because it's going to cost too much to cancel another manager's contract, all this shit. No, bruv, he's not good enough, man. We're 10th in the league. Just look at what's happening. We're 10th in the league. We're losing some of the best prospects in world football, yeah, in terms of young players. We're losing them just so we can stick with this Lego head guy, bruv. Come on.
So I'll say this. I'm not a big Arteta fan based on his decision making, but I'll say this. I would not fire Arteta now. There's a number of reasons why. First of all,
I don't think we should fire him out. I just
Right.
don't think we should stick with him beyond the season. I think we should look at bringing in someone like Julian Nagelsmann from RB Leipzig, who's done it at several teams and produced young players and got them to their full potential. We need to
He
go
ain't
down
win nothing. He ain't win nothing. So let me just say this. Let me say this. He ain't win nothing. Let me say this. Couple of things. One is he has to clean out all the dead weight. That's a lot of work. He has to get rid of all the baggage first. Here's the way you become a manager. You get rid of all the baggage. You give me a clean slate. You say, now I'm going to give you some money. You get the team. I'm going to give you the team you say you want. Now go show me what you can do. We were in a bad situation. We buy depreciable assets. We get no return on them. They sit there complaining because all the players who don't play and making a lot of money complain, and it caused dissension in the ranks. He's building his team, so he gets next year. Next year is the defining year. The year and a half, Emery inherited some of the same thing because Wenger wasn't getting the support from management either, and we left with a bunch of crap. You get rid of the crap, you clean out your closet, it's spring cleaning, you clean them out. Now you have a clean slate to work with. Go and show me what you can do, Arteta. So give him next year. Yeah, give him next year.
Okay, but put it like this then. Are you telling me now, yeah, that Arteta came into a worse team than Klopp came into at Liverpool? Or Brendan Rodgers came into at Liverpool?
That's a good question, actually.
Way in hell. No way in
hell,
bro. There's no way in hell. Liverpool had a shocking team. They had Alberto Moreno at left back and people like that. Come on, bro. This is mental.
Yeah.
We're talking madness right now. We're so brainwashed by the Arsenal syndrome. I'm telling you.
Hang on.
This
Do you remember who we had at left back when he came?
Nacho Monreal. Oh, Arteta. We had Tierney. Because he came under
Here's the difference. Liverpool was able to sell Suarez, get 70 plus million, go out and buy Salah, buy Mane, because Klopp is a brilliant talent evaluator. So the money we spent on Pepe was what he called him to buy Salah and to buy Mane. Right? You got to think about that. He's also bought Wijnaldum, less than £30 million. He's bought 5-6 players for less than £50 million.
Even in his first season, he finished 8th, right? In his first season, he finished 8th. In his first full season, he finished 8th.
But Brendan Rodgers almost won the league. What are you talking about, Danny? Brendan almost won the league. Apart from Gerrard Slip, they would have won the league.
Yeah,
he didn't get the worst team. He didn't get the worst team. They almost won the league. If Gerrard didn't slip, they win the league.
So what about Brendan Rodgers?
This is true.
That's true.
That
but what about Brendan Rodgers?
True.
When Brendan Rodgers took over from Dalglish, what team did he inherit? He had to build that team as well. And when they sold Suarez, they bought players like Lazar Markovic and people like that. They didn't have like the top players like that they were buying. They bought a load of crap.
We didn't think they were the top players.
They bought Carrot and gold. And people
we
like
all saw Mane play. We didn't think Mane was going to be Mane. We didn't think Salah was going to be Salah. We saw him at Chelsea before he went back to to Italy. We didn't think Salah, Mane, we didn't think Henderson was any good, for Christ's sake. So the manager has something to do with it, the way he positioned them, the way he put them, and now they're world beaters, right? You got to build a team. Give Arteta time to build his team. And next year, if he doesn't produce, we say, you know what? We have had it. Because right now, him playing William is getting under my skin every single day. It's like somebody jigging him in a needle 24/7. Like, come on, guy. Why are you doing that? It makes no sense to me. It's not logical. He keeps doing it. Playing David Luiz. Oh, look, I like David as a footballer. I just don't want him on my team anymore because I can't take the errors anymore. I don't care how good you are. I can't have confidence and trust in you. You're a good player, very good player. You can score goals in the head. Go take him more free kicks, by the way, because we keep giving him free kicks, and he has never produced a goal. We treat him like the kid from Southampton, and he doesn't kick free kicks like that. So.
I agree with that.
G, I'm a William fan. G, I was a William fan when he first came, of course, because he played well at Chelsea.
I thought he was going to be good. But then I saw a few Chelsea fans recently, and they were saying that his numbers that season were a myth because he scored bare penalties and free kicks. So we were looking at him thinking,
I love
Willock.
By the way, I love Willock. I love Willock. I'm a big Willock fan. He will come good. I watched him yesterday playing. He was the best midfielder on the field. He will come good. Just give the kid time. They can't play like mid-lemon. They run like they're in slow motion. They do exert more energy and run with more pace. But Willock will be good. I have no doubt about that. No doubt. He'll leave Arsenal and go someplace and be good, but he's going to be good.
What, Arteta? I hope so. No, I'm joking.
I hope Arteta succeeds. I want my team to succeed. Because I can complain all I want about him not being a good manager. I want him to succeed. I want him to do well.
I want him to succeed, but he won't.
Tell me, what's your views on Arteta?
Listen, in the last game, I've kind of said it. Like,
I asked the question, remember, and I agree fully with what you said in that, by the way.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, if you're giving me like yes or no, Arteta in or Arteta out, then I'll have to say out. But to be honest, I'm somewhat kind of on the fence, but leaning more on the outside because there's massive red flags for me in regards to like some of his decision making. That for me, that's my biggest issue. And then on the treatment on some of the young players, like these guys are our future. We don't have the money like what a Chelsea and a Manchester United have to be just, every time something happens, just be like, yep, let's go and spend 45, 50 mil, replace these players here and there. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, we'll spend another 40, 50. So, you know, those are the things that I don't like about Arteta. And I think that the things are fixable with Arteta. It just depends on whether he chooses to. But so far from what I've seen, I don't think it's going to get any better. I think he's got his favorites. I think he's got his set ways, and I don't think anybody could change him. And the fact that you told me with the whole goalkeeping coach, like that doesn't surprise me. Like it really doesn't. Like that sounds like an Arteta thing to do. So
and that going back to that as well, Neomis, that explains why Leno has looked so dodgy recently, doesn't it? That kind of like because he's been solid, and then all of a sudden he has a massive row with a goalkeeping coach, and then he starts performing sketchy.
Is that an excuse?
Well, if he's being coached,
if I'm a good player, can I blame a coach for performing badly? No.
But hear what? You see our goalkeeping system, it works differently. Arteta lets them tell the goalkeepers how to play. So basically, you see how we play out from the back, and most of us are calling, sometimes you need to boot it, Like that's what all the pundits have been saying. Not all the time playing out from the back has its benefits, but when it's not on, innit? But I got a feeling that it's something to do with those tactics.
No, guys, no. Coach,
we had the same coaches. Sorry.
Arteta said it himself the other day.
We had the same coaches coaching Leno and Martinez. And anybody will tell you which of them two goalkeepers we felt more comfortable in. Is a good goalkeeper. Do
you know who decided to get rid of Martinez? It wasn't Edu. It wasn't Arteta. It was the goalkeeping staff. They tell Arteta who he should sign, and then Arteta makes the final decision. They tell Arteta who to get rid of, and he makes the final decision. That's why we got rid of Matt Macy as well. Look, I'll send you guys the article. You can read it for yourself. It's from a source inside the club, talking about the goalkeeping situation. And there's a massive row going on right now because the guy we're getting rid of, we're trying to sign his son. We're getting rid of our head of goalkeeping, and we're trying to sign his son, and it's all going a bit dodgy. But trust me, there's something going on because Leno was out. I don't like the tactics that we're playing, and So he's had an argument with Arteta about this Inaki guy, but Arteta decided to keep Inaki and sack the head, which don't make sense.
Well, here's the thing: you guys don't understand. If I'm a manager, if things go wrong, I get sacked. I'm gonna do things my way. If it doesn't work, I'm responsible. If you want to give me all these other components that I need to utilize and tell me what to do, and I get sacked, then I didn't own the process. I have to own the process. So attacker needs to do. I have no problem with that. If he thinks he needs to have his own goalkeeping coach, if he thinks he needs to play, he needs to play, but he needs to get results. It's all about outcome. We wouldn't care if he was with Man City and where Man U are. We wouldn't care about goalkeeping problems or about not playing young players. We wouldn't.
That's true.
We're fans. So if I'm the coach and the manager, I'm going to play who I think is going to give me the best chance to win. I'm going to have the person around me to give, because as a manager, you have to take input from a lot of different sources. Then you can assess the input and make an informed decision. You can't just say, I'm a dictator, I'm just going to do things my way without listening. You have to listen, because that's where you hire those people around. It's where you give them jobs and give them roles, because you can't be everywhere and do everything. I will say this for Arteta. I am comfortable with him getting next year. He's going the wrong direction. I keep saying you can't go from 5th to 8th to 10th and then say you should have a job, because that makes no sense, especially for our Arsenal team, which, as Danny said, was top 3. We're not top 3 anymore. I'm sorry. We were top 3 for a while. We're moving in the wrong direction. We're probably behind Chelsea now, between Chelsea, Man U, and Man City, and struggling with Spurs for 4th or 5th in the league. You want to say something, Tony?
Yeah, I do. So what I want to say is, I believe that Arsenal have gone down the wrong road when it comes to player acquisition and the responsibility given to Arteta. Because we know that when Arsene Wenger came to Arsenal, buying players was David Dean's job. Now, we know, you look at any American football team, the man who owns the club is the man who makes the decision. So Jerry Jones gets total ownership. Am I going to give Dak Prescott a deal, or am I going to sell him? And I don't understand how Mikel Arteta holds such power that he's going to be able to be given choice over who he's getting and who he ain't. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I'm the manager of a team, yeah, and this is what seems really strange at Arsenal, I had a scouting network, and if a baller comes up, yeah, I should be given word to say, guys, there's a guy I need you to have a look at. He's in the 2nd division in Brazil, aka Gabriel Martinelli, and you should take a look at him. And you know what? If we can snatch him for 5 million, we should grab him, because you know what? 5 million is not a lot of money in striker terms, and a return on investment will be guaranteed, because at least we'll make 10, 15, 20 million on him, even at worst case scenario. But if he goes on to great things, it could be Lionel. It could be the next Lionel Messi. Yeah, and I don't understand how Arsenal at this stage are putting all the eggs in one basket with Arteta and giving him carte blanche to say, okay, get rid of him, and I don't know what I'm bringing in. And a typical example is he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with Gabriel, with Saliba. He got in Alex Runason. Really?
That's this
So
Inaki guy.
no
That's this Inaki guy.
Arteta.
Listen, let me say something. You see that Runason signing? This is the perfect example. You see Runason, he was recommended by Inaki. Let me find it. I found the article. Yeah, he was recommended by, what's his name? Inaki Kana Pavon. Yeah, who joined in 2019. He was recommended by him, who used to be his goalkeeping coach at that French club. Yeah, and he was like, he's going to be a big star one day when he was 22. And basically, what's happening is Arteta is building a Spanish backroom staff now, yeah? So this guy, Sam Woodman, who we got in 2018, has been told that he's not going to get his contract renewed because Arteta wants to build a team of staff that he likes around him. So this guy has recommended you Runason, and you've kept him on and got rid of the guy who your goalkeepers like working with even more. It don't make sense. This is what I mean. It's about the same, nepotism. You ever heard of that word, yeah? That's what Arteta has an issue with, yeah? And he's keeping people around him that are more yes men than people. He reminds me of Deontay Wilder. If you don't watch boxing, yeah? Deontay Wilder will sack Mark Breland, who's the only guy in his team that's a real guy who knows about boxing, 2-time world champion, and keep a yes man around him who knows fuck all about the sport, so to swear. And then this is what we're seeing at Arsenal. He's keeping people around him that he are going to tell him yes, basically. That's what
so guys, look, a manager should have a say in the players who you buy. For example, Emery wanted Zaha. He didn't want Pepe. He didn't get Zaha. Right? He thinks Zaha would help him because he's watched Zaha play. He sees Zaha destroyed in 2 games. He said, I want that kid. We took the money and buy Pepe versus Zaha. A manager has to, how you get to succeed, he know what strategy you want to employ. He know how he want to play. He know what kind of players he want. And Tony mentioned Jimmy Jones from Dallas. He hasn't won a damn thing since Jimmy Johnson left. He hasn't won. You know why? Because Jimmy Johnson was the one who know the players and their ability. He doesn't know anything. David Dean worked with Wenger. Wenger said, David, I need to get this player. David said, okay, let's figure out how we get it. You need that other half of you to say, you know what, I'm gonna challenge you. Wenger, I think you should get this player. I think you should get Pepe because you know what? Pepe doesn't do A, B, and C. And Wenger would say, you know what, maybe you're right. Let's revisit that. You don't need a yes. I agree with Danny. You don't need a yes man. But you also need somebody who's going to be confrontational with you. You need somebody who's going to be on the same page with you. When a decision is made, it's a team decision. If I make the decision, even though you may not disagree, it's a team decision. Let's move forward. You can't have people like Guendouzi in your team because everywhere Guendouzi has been, we talk about young players. Guendouzi is a problem in France, is a problem in Germany, is a problem in Arsenal. Some people are problem child. No matter how good they are, they're problem child. You don't want them on your team. You got to go. Saliba's a different situation. I didn't understand the Saliba situation. It doesn't make sense to me. But Arteta has the power to decide his own fate. He has 1 more year to figure out whether that works or not. If he fails, he gets fired. If he doesn't fail, he's a genius.
But what about if in that time he alienates the players we're talking about that are the future of our club?
But he has some in his corner. Aubameyang's in his corner. Williams is in his corner. David, the players who are playing are in his corner. I'm telling you. The players who are playing in his corner. The ones who are not playing are not going to be in his corner. Think about the team and who is playing. Xhaka is in his corner. I'm sure Bellerin is in his corner. Tierney is in his corner. Saka is in his corner. They're all playing. They will never. Laka may not be. Pepe will not be. Think about the players who are playing and say if they're anti-Arteta. They will not be. I'm telling you. They won't be. In fact, a lot of rave reviews came out when he first started about his coaching style, his coaching method. Or we sit down and talk to players. He had Mustafi playing well at one point. So I'm not sure how things have turned around since then about how horrible it is in terms of man management. I thought that's one of his main attributes, frankly.
But the proof is in the pudding. Like you can, he talks a good game. I give you that. But I'm saying the proof is in the pudding. And a lot of the players that were scouted by top people and stuff, they're turning out to be just pushed out of the club.
Yeah, I'm sure Odegaard loves him. I'm sure Odegaard, because he wasn't playing at Real Madrid.
He's only just joined, man. He's only just joined. Give it time, man. If we give it time, if he starts to get that poison as well. Listen, I'm not Arteta out. I have to clarify this, Bertram. Yeah, I'm not Arteta out right now. I think it would be stupid to get rid of him at this point of the season. But I do think we need to assess at the end of every season how that season's gone. That's football now is not about we're going to do this 5 years. Like the 3-year plan is proven to be a myth anyway. Look at Klopp and Pep. How long they've been at their respective clubs now? They've not been there 3 years. That's a myth. That's an out of date term.
Don't use Pep. Klopp, I'm not using Pep for anything.
Klopp, Pep, all these guys. Mourinho stayed 4 years at Man United. Like that 3-year thing is done now. It's done. It's not a 3-year plan anymore. I just think you have to evaluate each season upon season. Forget and then isolate that as a separate time. And this season has not been good. And this is the last thing I'm going to say on it. This season in particular has been terrible. Do you know what I'm saying? This has been one of the worst seasons in Arsenal's history. Yeah, since the Premier League started. Do you know what I'm saying? This has been awful. So I think we have to just assess that as an individual thing and say he hasn't been good enough this year. And do we have anyone better on the market? Because we've missed out on top managers in the past because we've been on this thing of give the manager time, when really we need to assess each season upon season and say, no, he hasn't been good enough. Is there anyone better? No, okay, keep him on. Is there anyone better? Yes, get rid of him. Get that good person in. Just see what I'm saying? That's my point of view on it. You get me?
No, look, I do think Edu and Arteta are tied at the hip. They're one to me. They're tied at the hip. And the question, what happens after, not this year, because I think they'll get one transfer window, or the upcoming transfer window, I should say, to demonstrate whether or not they're the right people for the job. And I think when they get fired, I say when they get fired, they're both going to get fired. It's not going to be one, because they both making the decisions. It's not just an Arteta decision. Edu's right there with him. Now, hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Hopefully, they both produce, and next year we have a great team. And look, we've got rid of a lot of players. They have some tough decisions to make come next transfer window about people like Lacazette and Ketty. All those players got to make decisions about it because the contracts are running down. We don't have a ton of money because we're still in COVID period. It may not be what we all want it to be or anticipate because the money may not be there, frankly. The money may not be there to buy players. So what do? We can't keep going in debt.
Stick with a manager that can't manage with the players we've got. That's what everyone seems to think. Like, that's what I don't understand. If we can't get the best out of these players, yeah, Wenger got better out of worse players. Do you see what I mean? He had worse teams than this, and he got way more out of them. He got to Champions Leagues with people like Marouane Chamakh, and he turned invincible with players like Pascal Sigan in the team. Do you see what I mean? Like, he could get the best. Alex Ferguson, another guy, yeah, he will have players like Tom Cleverley in the team and win the league, bro. So you need managers that can get the best out of what you've got. We ain't going to be able to buy all the players Arteta needs to turn us into Man City.
So my reluctance in doing comparison between yesteryear is this. We have more money in the Premier League than we have ever had before. The Premier League is more competitive than it's ever been before. You didn't have the Man Cities of the world. When you had the teams, either you had Liverpool dominated before the Premier League started, or subsequent to that, you had Man U and Arsenal. It was a two-person league. Then Abramovich came in with his money. Man City came in with their money. The Premier League has no more money now, so every team have more money. It's very competitive. So we compare to yesteryear, it's hard to have the comparison because there's some... Look, the Italian league was the best league at one point in time. Things have changed. The Premier League, with its fast-paced, never-ending football, non-stop football, is dominating world football. So everyone wants a piece of the action, right? And if that's the case, the comparisons are hard to make between prior years because we have 5. Look at the Premier League this year, for example. No one knows going to be in the top 4. Apart from City, there's no guarantee for any of the spot. Even though Man U is really good in the second place, that any of those teams of the top, say, 7, 18, I don't think we're in it, can make top 4, right? It's more competitive than it's ever been. In prior years, it was Arsenal, it was Man U, and then who's the next two? Could be Liverpool, could be Chelsea. Tottenham came on later. It was always 2 teams guaranteed, and then you had a couple more teams who were right there in that top. It was a top 6. The rest of the teams didn't matter. Now that has changed. We have Villa, for Christ's sake, who was almost relegated last year, and now are in the running for top 4. Everton is in the running for top 4. So I will not do the prior year comparison because money changed the dynamics of football. Who thought Man City would be dominating this league? Oil money, stolen money in Chelsea. I'm calling it stolen money. That's what dominating the league. So it shows you it's a players' league. If you have the best players, Tony and Danny, you mentioned Pep. Pep always has the most money and the best players. Always. Even at Barca, he had the most money and the best players. Yep. And even though he had the most money for Real Madrid, he had the best players. Let me see him do what Klopp do, and I will respect Pep. Right now, I think, he looks like a good manager. His team play beautiful football. But he has 2 teams, for Christ's sake. So I respect Klopp. I respect Jose, and I don't like Jose. I think Jose is just too controversial. But they have won with less. Pep hasn't done so yet. Arteta is from the Pep school. I'm hoping that he got some of that Pep DNA. And I'm hoping, like you and I and Tony and Neomis and Apollo and G and everyone else, Cool K18, we all want a team to win. And my hope is that next year will be our year. Am I optimistic? No, but I have hope. I think Apollo's been calling for us to
that is the funniest thing I've heard today.
Yeah. Oh, predictions. Yes. Predictions of tomorrow's game.
Neomis will go with you first, actually.
I'm gonna go with a draw. For me,
that's so safe.
I do. Listen, I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw. I think we're gonna get some surprises. There's gonna be some close calls. But I think a draw will probably be a fair result for Arsenal. most of all. So I'd be great for a win, but I don't see an Arsenal win against this Spurs side.
Danny?
I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win 2-1 because we ain't beaten for ages, man. It's been ages now, isn't it? We lost 2-1 last time. So I think we're going to turn it around. I think we're going to 2-1 them, and I think it's going to be a surprising game. It's going to be cagey, and I think, I think we'll beat them.
Tony?
So what did I go with last night? Did I say 2-2 or 3-2? I think I said 3-2.
Yeah, I think you said 3-2, yeah.
Yeah, because I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of goals, which historically we've always had. This is one of them games where both teams have got dodgy defenses. Yeah, so expect goals, 2-2 or 3-2 to us. I'm going 3-2 to us.
So even though I told Naomi it's going to be safe, I'm saying 2-2. I can't see how we win. Look, it depends on how the team plays. If Spurs press us, I think we're in trouble because I don't think we're smart enough to play over the top. If we do, I think we have a chance. I'm expecting big things from Partey tomorrow. He only played 50-something minutes against Olympiacos. He has to dominate the midfield tomorrow. And then I don't know how if Bale is in form, and we know what Bale has done to us when we had decent teams in the past. If Son is in form and Kane is in form and Moura playing behind them, it could be a long day. Could be a long day. And depends on who we pick, because we're going to pick William and Saka, who don't score goals. So Abba will have to score. The only good thing about the game is that Spurs are not like City, who dominates the ball, right? When you play against City, you can't touch the ball, so you're always struggling. We'll get enough of the ball to make a difference. So I'm going to say 2-2. I'm sure G's going to say we're going to win. Well, Tom is not on, but I'd love to see Cool KG.
All we know is Apollo has picked Willian to score tomorrow. So good luck with that one, sir.
I thought you guys didn't start drinking this early. The pubs are still closed, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Hell, William's going to score. Man hasn't scored all year, and he's going to score against Spurs. Now, look, Spurs defense is not the best, right? But I'm not looking for William to score, but he's going to play. My only question for Arteta is this. So we play again on Thursday, don't we?
Yep.
So will he play the players 3 games in 7 days? Is that smart? That's the question.
Nope. It's going to be a rested side, in my opinion, on Thursday. It's going to be a rested side.
Well, I mean, he did rest the side the last time he played against Leicester, right? And we did win that game. So the question is, does Laka come in? Aubameyang is going to play, I think. I can't see him not playing in the North London derby.
Yeah.
I think Saka should get a rest, actually. I think Saka has not played well the last 2 games. Not sure what's happening with him. I think he can play Pepe. Yeah.
It's probably just tiredness that's kind of catching up with him. I mean, he's for the most part, he's had a pretty consistent season. Very good season, in my opinion. But on Thursday, I think it's gonna be pretty much rested. I'd be shocked if we didn't go through. I think we're virtually got one leg in the door in terms of going through to the last 16 of the Europa League. So I expect a lot of the bench players, the Lacazettes, Smith Rowe, I expect will play. I wouldn't even be surprised to see Matt Ryan in goal.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening. Odegaard's going to play. Look, William played. He probably played close to the same team he played on Thursday, frankly. Not the same team, but close to it. I would love him to play El Nene and Partey in the middle.
Jesus.
I would love El Nene and Partey in the middle. Because I do think
he's doing some stupidness in this game.
No. Zaha, I keep telling you guys, he's ridiculous, right? 4 men around him is like nobody's tackling him. You can't tackle him because you can't see the ball. You can't see the ball, you can't touch the ball. That's what people don't realize, Tony. I keep telling people this, which is Arsenal players who say they don't like Zaha, you miss the big picture.
He's quality. It's just that he's not worth 70 million,
man, because he desperately wants to come to Arsenal. We know that. We know he's an Arsenal fan. We know he wants to come to Arsenal. Just get it done, guys.
Look at this, guys. When you play with a good team, a very good team, you get more freedom because you're not being marked like he's being marked when he plays. Every team zeroes in on him. You get more isolation. You get more one-on-one. Imagine Zaha being one-on-one on a left back or a right back in a game where he has Aubameyang in the middle. He has someone, Saka beside him. Now you have to play straight up, and you can't play like how Grealish plays, for example. Grealish gets marked a lot, and he still gets out of trouble. Those players in very good teams are exceptional players. Doesn't have that luxury when he plays for Palace, because Palace doesn't have a good team. No, but I've always seen that.
Wrapped up now?
Yeah, we are wrapped up.
Yeah, basically.
Where will Arsenal finish this season? Prediction. Where we finish this season? I'm going Danny first.
10.
9.
Apollo saying 10. You said Nabil said 10. You said 9. You said 9.
9. Yeah, I think.
What are they gonna replace?
I think we're in the mold of getting past Villa.
They have games in hand, I think they have a game or two in hand, and they haven't played without Grealish for the last 3 games.
And they still will continue because he's out for a while, isn't he?
No, he was sick the last time. He was injured, and he's sick, so he should play the next game.
Okay.
Neomis, what you predict?
I'm gonna go with 8th.
Villa don't have a game in hand, by the way.
They don't? I thought they did.
No, they
played
today.
Okay,
Tomorrow they'll have a game in hand again, I think. Oh, no. Yeah, tomorrow they'll have a game in hand. That's it.
Tony?
9.
I am predicting we end up where we are.
10th. Oh no. See that no.
I think we're going to be 10th as well.
No, can't go backwards. Like we finished 8th last season. It has to be 8th or better.
So look at the only team I can see us going past is Villa. We're not getting past Liverpool, Tottenham, Everton, West Ham. Forget about Chelsea, Leicester. Man. Only Villa. And frankly, when Grealish come back, Villa will be in a better place. I don't know. Who we playing next? We're playing West Ham. Then we're playing Liverpool. We have a very soft schedule at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But we have a rough patch coming up.
Yeah, our last 10 games, apart from Chelsea, is it's pretty smooth. That if we play to our ability, we should be able to kind of win those.
We'll drop points, Neomis. We'll drop against unexpected teams. We will. That's what we've been doing all season. Why is it going to change now, man?
I hope not, because like that alone to finish 9th or 10th, nah.
You'll be more on the Arteta outside there, isn't it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it shows regression.
Yeah, so but that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Why you have to address each season as a isolated time period. You can't be like, it's a process, because we don't have time for that in modern football anymore. The longer we stay 10th, 8th, 6th, 9th, all these positions, the longer we're losing money. We can't afford to do that. Our whole model is based on getting into Europe. And the longer we end up in situations like this, I know we still might win the Europa, but the chances of that are, like Muhammad Ali said, there's 2 chances, slim and none. You get me? That's what I'm saying. I don't think we're winning that.
I don't think it's slim enough for Europa. I think in Europa we have about a 20% chance to win.
20% chance.
I think it's more than that.
Imagine I said to you, Imagine I said to you, here's a bag of sweets, Bertram, and there's a 20% chance that one of them sweets is going to kill you. Are you going to take a sweet?
I have 1 of 5. 1 of 5. Wait. First of all, after this Thursday, there's 8 teams left. So that means each team has about 13-40% chance of winning, just on our average.
Yeah, but
I'll take the 1 of 5. I'll take 20%.
We got tax. You have to put the Arsenal tax on, and that tax is that we shit.
We have beaten Man U this season. So think about it. The favorite is Man U. We have beaten them and drawn with them this season, right? We haven't. We lost to Tottenham, but we'll see tomorrow how that goes. So those are the 2 favorites to win the league. So why can't we have a good chance of winning?
How we done against Liverpool?
No, they're not in the Europa.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying in terms of quality of team and stuff. Like Liverpool are 8th.
We don't play Liverpool and Man City well. We haven't played Liverpool and Man City well in the last 5-6 years. We don't play them well because they have better quality. We don't play them well.
If we draw a Tottenham early, then we'll probably get knocked out. But if we get them in the final, we'll probably win because they're bottle finals, isn't it? So
we need good luck in the Europa League. If United and Spurs could draw one another, I'd love that. I hope Emery could knock out Spurs, because for me they're the ones that are the problem. Bale is the X factor for me. He's a clutch player. That's the issue with him.
He's up and down though, man. Like one game he might be terrible. Like I seen him at Madrid in his last couple of seasons, and at one game he'll be on fire. The next game he'll be looking like a shadow. So you can't tell. But I want to ask you guys. Who would you like to get next in the Europa?
Mulder or Granada?
Yeah, Mulder or Granada.
Mulder or Granada. Yep. No.
I want to play Rangers, man. I want to play Rangers.
No. I don't want Rangers yet.
I'd like
Rangers
to see
score a
that
lot of
game.
goals. They leak goals, but they score goals.
Yeah.
And Morales against our defense, I'm not. I'll wait. I'll wait for Rangers. We played Mulder already. It's a pub team.
Yeah.
We love pub teams.
Mm-mm.
Even if we play bad and give away goals like we did against the pub team Thursday, we can still beat them. I'm surprised about Olympiacos though, because Mvila, Valbuena, all those players are good players in their days.
Yeah.
They just got older.
Bruma, that Portuguese guy, is a good player, man.
Yeah, they got good players. They just got old. We were trying to get Mvila for years, actually.
Yeah.
In the midfield, he was playing defense.
The reason, that's what I'm saying. He was in defense. That's why we didn't really see his effects against us, because he was in defense. Like, if he was in midfield, he might have had a better chance, because their midfield was dead. That's how we beat them. We just washed out their midfield, innit? So,
yeah, even Xhaka looked good in that game.
The way he just slipped that in there.
I said yeah because I thought you were going to say something I agree with, and then I was like, hang on.
No, you agree. You can't take it back.
Unbelievable.
Even Xhaka looked good. I mean, anybody can look good. And Partey didn't look good, by the way. So I say a lot for look. I'm gonna say the last thing on Xhaka is this. I don't want to talk about Xhaka anymore. We talk about Xhaka too much.
Yeah.
Xhaka played it hard on his sleeve. Yeah, Xhaka disrespected the fans. I agree with that. I'm not a Xhaka fan in terms of his capabilities. I do think he's a decent player. When I see him play for Switzerland, he plays really well, frankly, even against good teams like Germany. But he hasn't done it consistently in the Premier League to the level that we need to challenge for the top four. He's just not the answer. He's athletically, he's challenged. He can't go by players. You need players to differentiate themselves when they play at this level. He doesn't do that. So hopefully next year we can move him on, get a decent fee for him, and buy someone else.
That's the comment right there, boy. Harvard is brain in his ass. That is Xhaka, boy.
He's what I mean.
But yeah, closing comments, guys. What are you saying?
Enjoy the rest of your day. Prepare for the pain. In the words of Clubberland. Prediction.
I can see Son. I can see Son, Kane, and Bale running right tomorrow. Here's my concern. People keep saying I give Tierney a hard time. I would love to see Tierney have a good game against a very tricky winger. When we had Amen locked down the Traorés of the world. He locked down the Mahrez. Hopefully Tierney can do that, because he won't be able to overlap as much against a team like Spurs. But look, I want us to win. I hope we win, but it'll be a tough game.
I agree that Tierney needs to lock down Bale, but I do think we're going to have chances for him to overlap as well, because Bale is not that good at tracking back, and their defense is soft. So I do think we're going to have chances going forward. I'm not as pessimistic as you guys. I do think we're going to win tomorrow. Like, genuinely, normally I'm like, oh, we're going to lose that, but I do think there's something about this Spurs team that is not quite right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something about this Spurs team right now compared to other seasons where they might be on form right now, but this is the derby, mate, and form goes out the window when it's a derby. So I just feel like we're going to win tomorrow, and I hope we do. And I think Tierney's going to have a big part to play as well. I think he's going to.
But they did put 4 parts Burnley and 4 parts Crystal Palace and 2 in the Europa League without Bale. So
Tottenham.
Yeah, they're scoring goals.
Yeah, but I don't care. It's Tottenham, innit?
Tony says, Neomis, so we all finished? Well, everyone, have a wonderful Saturday. Put on your armor for tomorrow, because it's going to be a challenge. And hopefully we'll win tomorrow. Yeah,
hey, what's that? Hey, did you hear this story about Patrick Ewing not getting into the MSG?
No, he's in the MSP. What
Crazy
he's complaining
story.
about is him walking around and people stopping him all the time asking for ID, and he's like, "Well, it's my house. You can't ask me for my house in my ID in my own house." So you see my name in the rafters?
Who's ID and Patrick Ewing, man?
Yeah, the
What's wrong
guards.
with you?
You should know.
Because he hasn't played for the Knicks in 20 years. He hasn't played in 20 years. Those guards are
Yeah, but
probably
he still looks like Patrick Ewing, bro.
Yeah.
The same moustache and all
Royalty
that.
right there, man.
They don't know their history. They don't know their history.
That's
Take care,
shocking
guys.
behavior.
All right.
All right,
Have a good
man.
week.
Hey,
Enjoy.
See you guys. See you tomorrow.